So this is a request for a restriction order. I'm starting from the credential. My military service, I was a commander of soldiers, class riflery 02, I was 05, chosen 2 from 100, in a battlefield in the zone of the Green Line. I also got a bonus to be a sports instructor, and after the evacuation process in 95, I was only a sports instructor. In 2023, I was recruited again to the police, the officers' base for training officers, and there I worked as a sports guide and a lifeguard. Education, I'm going backwards. 2021, I did the retirement planning at Orange Baltar Academy. 2018 to 2020, I did the accounting studies at Bar Ilan University, average 82. I passed the bar exams in the grade of 77. These are very rare and high grades. I also was at the time offered by the head of the department to a lead lecturer position in the university. In 2007, I got a scholarship to learn .NET. In 24-26, I did my tax consulting bookkeeping studies at Kikar Medina Mishlav. 1990 till 2003, I did an open university degree in honors in psychology. I got accepted to neurology, but my parents wanted me to learn finance. They pushed and they sponsored the learning of tax advising, and later on my father, when I said I want to learn Russian, he insisted that, and he will pay, and because I'm talented, he said he wanted me to learn accounting, accounting is the highest degree and the highest qualification in finance. It's more than an economist, it's more than a retirement planner, it's more than a business manager, it's the highest qualification, it's the highest degree. I worked for about 15 years or even more and studied in acquiring qualification experience in Israeli, European, American accounting, taxes, financial management. I was for 5 years CFO, Chief Financial Officer of a subsidiary of the electricity company, of the Israeli electricity company, and we managed to do an exit to a long-standing company, 200 years, a British company, which took over. I worked at Ernst & Young at the time to do my internship. My mom started feeling not so good. She had a hip replacement, and I just left work because my 2 brothers didn't want to give her a caregiver. So for 20 years, I was actually taking care of my parents. 2004, they built, they have half a dunam with 4 levels of a house. They insisted in 2004, after I have an adopted Muslim brother. He broke an entrance into my flat in Tel Aviv. They insisted that I would live next to them, and they were very sick, terminally ill, and I took care of them. Their English, their Hebrew wasn't so good. I helped them out in administration and so on and so forth. And I also worked for my father in something like a voluntary work for many years. Okay. Request for restraining order. So the purpose is immediate restraining and protection order on the background of multiple criminal allegations and threats to my life, and after they have a criminal case of a suspected murder of my mom, clause 300 in the penal law and 301 in the penal law. Murder, aggravated murder. The criminal cases that were opened by the police were opened by the head of the investigation at the time it was Savidor, now it's in Raoul Wallenberg, Micha Gafni. The criminal case is 4999-8080. Phone to me at home, and he told me this is a murder investigation, and he gave me the case name and everything. That's from 2024. They also have robbery and the domestic violence case 314612 from 2024. This request was submitted to the court on the 2nd of November, which was erased or something. On the 13th of November, there was a breakage of entry during the night, and there's a new criminal case 544947 from 2025. The victim is Hannah Radley, the deceased. She was for half a year completely, deteriorated, mute. She couldn't speak. Her Hebrew wasn't well already, but she couldn't speak. She had ALS-like symptoms. There's a suspicion of poisoning. They have narcotics. They do all kinds of stuff like a medical guardianship. They did a medical guardianship on me and forced narcotics on me. I was half clinical dead. I couldn't speak in 2015-16, couldn't speak. I had stroke-like symptoms. So they have suspected drug poisoning and also financial exploitation. I will show the proof in a minute. The main allegation is theft, large sums of bank accounts. Actually, I didn't know that, but for 4 years they hid the young guy is a banker. For 4 years they didn't show her, neither me, the bank accounts. And actually, when she was dying and completely mute, every 2 days they were drawing money. Forgery of signatures. Also, they made a will on me. I was, their tax advisor for 20 years. I didn't know about this will. And they also signed my mum when she was paralyzed on an ongoing power of attorney. And they were already selling her house. In May, their attorney, which I'm suing in Tel Aviv, was going around here, around their house, and with friends and the buyer. She wasn't dying. They said that she will move. We said, look, I couldn't take care of her at home. She had a hip replacement and they didn't want to give her full-time caregiver. I said, we said, move to an elderly age home. If you don't like it, come back. We'll take care of you. When she moved in September 2022. They didn't allow her to come back. They didn't allow her to see a house. They were withdrawing every two days. They were withdrawing money, and they were already selling a house against their promise. They also took over a flat in Eilat in 2021. They told her, look, it was 20 years she had income from rent. They told her the Muslim is real estate agent, and for about 7 years he was helping out with this. So they said, we can't find lodgers. We need to renovate a bit, and then we'll get you, someone new who will pay. So they, asked her to take out 100,000 shekels, daily by daily. It was 21. And when it was finished, they took her to clean the house, didn't give her a key, and then took over that flat for, before its strict liability clause in the in trust law. They already knew, and also in the penal law, there's a clause. They knew they had to be very careful, enlarge, and they preserve the money, but they already were taking it for themselves. According to the trust law and also the guardianship law, you're supposed to take care of the beneficiaries. You're supposed to take care of the person that is, giving you the right to handle the money. You cannot steal, but you could see that they were stealing. I'm going to the evidence in a minute. So the criminal law references are the penal law 300, 301, aggravated murder and murder, 435, which is exploitation of invalid or disabled person, fraud and exploitation, 220 in the income tax ordinance, which is, having income in, theft from income return, and money laundering and cash use violation, bank and financial abuse, cash forgery and property seizures. They forged documents in January 2023. She was mute. they took her to sign an ongoing power of attorney, and there's a very big chance that they made up this will, because they have no idea, and they insisted. We had 2 negotiations, which they didn't want to show the assets and the documents, and they insisted to put it it was the first time that it was put in the registry of inheritance. It was never, my father didn't put a will like that in the inheritance. Okay, threats, violence against the applicant, a drug poisoning suspicion. Okay, so I'm going to the evidence. Evidence submitted. Okay, why is it important? The 13th, there was a breakage of entry. For last 2 months, I'm getting threats. I was getting threats. I was beaten, but last 2 months, I was asking for the bookkeeping and stuff. I mean, they were referring to me, the brothers, to come and sign a bank account which they can withdraw. This is not a trust. They have a strange idea about what is a trust. You know, they didn't report the regulatory authorities and anything like that. They didn't do, 152 form. They haven't got bookkeeping. This is all the trust law, trust law 7. You need booking, accounting, you need innocence of heart. You have no, they also submitted to throw me out of their house because they are needy families. They got just now 3.5 million. After robbery, they got 3.5 million. Which needy families are you? So the evidence submitted, the bank statements for the first time in my life. I got the bank statement, I couldn't believe it. Medical and neurological support, a WhatsApp and a SMS threats, and court and police documentation. I'm just going and showing this. So we're going to page. Okay, so we're going into page 7. You can see an SMS. This is from 2024. לפני הקבורה, before you're being, this is a death threat, you'll be decapitated, Abu Chugua, or so the elder is a Muslim, and the banker is for about 5 years, I think twice a year, he goes to Muslim countries. I don't know, might have gone Islam as well. The elder brother, was thrown out of the army, sat in prison 6. He also, I think, sat in an ordinary prison in 1999. He had criminal files as a kid. He used to beat the mother, which she actually fought for him and went and released him from the police, and really fought that he won't get he was involved in the narcotics. He has dead people, friends of his from his youth are dead from overdoses. Very suspicious stuff. And in Golani, when I was at the police, the rumor was that he was trading with Hezbollah. I think they couldn't, prove it, and he was, sat for a long time for obeying commands and stuff like that. And then they made him a driver, and although all that, he was, just thrown out of the army with an officer of the health mental for being a psychopath. The rumor was that he was in Golani, he was pushing pills on his soldiers, narcotics on his friends, and he completely fried them. He also did it to his wife. He did it in 1999 to his wife, and in the COVID time, he's usually not at home, but he was locked at home. He couldn't go out, and he started beating her and stuff like that. She took him to a therapist, and he got a Clonix or benzodiazepines, and he started putting it in her food. He asked me to dismantle a company that she had. I don't know, he really took her really in a real loss, but he was shouting and stuff like that. And I was threatened, and, and I realized she overpaid taxes, 100,000 shekels, she overpaid taxes, and he didn't give it to her back. It just, he stole it from her. narcotics and stealing money. And you could see the same with their mother. So this is the first SMS in the seventh page. לפני הקבורה יערפו אותך, 18 יום עד 7 באוקטובר השני, אבו שטוגה יצווה לתקוף. Now you can see the younger one is saying, he says, I'm asking for the accounting. It says, here's a shot. This is something that it killed. It's anti-dopamine. It also can make ALS symptoms. It's a very, very harsh drug. It's used to also for a rare virus in the stomach, and also for people who have neurological, retarded neurological shrinkage of the dormitory lateral area in the brain, which I don't have. I did a scan. There's nothing to do with it. It's called antidopamines. This is a new version of it, which is extended release. It's called Exeplion. It says, take a drug or have a drug at home, and everything will be all right. It makes you mute. It puts you in an ALS state. You will have strokes and you cannot speak. Now at page 9, we have all the, this is a request was submitted after I couldn't put an appeal, although I did, I got a legal advice and I did everything on the correct terms, but on the 10th of January, 5 days before putting in an appeal, the younger came to broke my ribs. I still have injuries from the time. This was submitted to court after that thing, so you can see all the doctors' evidence, the injuries, the medical injuries. And now we're going in, this is very important, page 25, the bank account. I want to show from September 2022, you can see when but first of all, gambling in buying and selling the shares, but you can see a lot. First of all, my sister is giving back a loan that she took from my mom, but you can see this is really when she was dying. Okay, I have to, okay, so we have on November, 6,000 is going out. Again, December, the end of November, December, another, let's get to when she's really dying. Okay, so we're going into page 29. A lot of purchase purchase and selling. Instead of taking care of her, you go in and gambling. This is really when she dies. So we have here, page 29. You can see on the 4th of January, 5,000 shekels. 8th of January, she's full ALS, mute and paralyzed, 2,000 shekels, then 8,000 shekels. Then we go in again on the 24th, again 8,000. The 23rd, 2,000. She's paralyzed, okay? What does it? You can see that they didn't want to transfer to the elderly home. They weren't paying. Again, 9th, we take a 9th of February, 2,000. You were taking this as some 30,000 shekels taken out of the account. Again, we have on the 5th, another 5,000. 4,000, another just taken out of the account, 35,000 shekels, which I don't know where it went. 6th of, this is the death day, 4,000 shekels. This is unbelievable. Now I want to read out the ALS. This is page page 34. We have the findings, the left personal motor NSC. So she had a scan. I'm going to the conclusion. It's page 35. This study shows diagnosis evidence for ongoing the derivation of reinnervation in 3 areas of the nervous system. So her nervous system was checked: the cerebral, the lumbar, and the thoracic. In the lumbar and cerebral area, it was seen in muscles that originate from different roots and nerves on the background of almost normal snaps and severely reduced CMAPs. In addition, in repetitive nerve stimulation of 3 heads, a mild discriminational response was seen. These findings are compatible with motor neuron disease. So, he also, the elderly one, gave her opiates in Ichilov. He tried to overdose on opiates. That was around April 2022. He came in. I mean, I don't know it's very easy to get the opiates. She was 40 kilos. My mom was very, very skinny. Brought her pills like that to try to put her on opiates. So actually, opiates can make symptoms of neuron disease, but also these antidopamines can put you in really a paralyzed situation. The mom signed on a request to donate her body to science, not also the Eddie, but also to contribute the corpse to be, dissect in the medical department in the University of Tel Aviv. They didn't oblige. They just took her and buried her. This is very, very strange. Okay. In addition, motor neuron disease. So you have narcotics on this background, but she was paralyzed, couldn't speak. A differential diagnosis might be severe motor neuropathy. A neuromuscular transmission disorder is less likely since the CMAP amplitude of the ulnar nerve was very small. That's the findings of the discriminational response. It's not specific regard that the medical doctor. These are all the tests. They came in July 2023 after beating up, and they stole this file. They stole this file. I couldn't believe it. They knew so this is done on the 23rd of January, on the 2 weeks before they signed her, as if she's given them an ongoing power of attorney to sell their house. This doesn't make any sense. Okay. So the request for the court orders is since the 13th of November, there was a breakage of entry, again, to steal evidence. The restriction court orders that are requested are 10 kilometers restraining order, a ban from residence and workplace, weapon prohibition, travel ban, and phone tracking authorization. Another thing is they used for court a guy named Ronen Freund, which is as if it's a delivery. It's not a delivery. It's he was going on, he's registered in 2 companies as espionage, as like a private detective. This is not a delivery guy. He came at 10 o'clock at night, like this guy who sabotaged the house named Kobe Cohen. Came at 10 o'clock at night to make deliveries. He broke an entry. This is half a dunam. The house where I got is very hidden, very secure. It's not, intuitive. Nobody will know to go to a place like that. He came at night, then late, and never phoned. Again, like Scobie Cohen, which they sent to ruin the house in 2022 and 2023. They promised to break their house. They opened a chimney, which they filled everything with water. And a pole fell on me. I have a Evgeny also who can give evidence regarding that. And they sabotage all the sewage area when I'm living there. They promised, the Shiva, they said, will break your house where you live in. So they're sending, delivery guys. On May, they were here I think it was also Arik, because in the garden, first of all, my sister said that they coming in. Not them, but people who they already builders and stuff like that. I found on the ground building plans. Okay, that's it.